Okay, we have the starter, and then we add the water. We stir it around, and now we add some of the flour to the starter mixture, and we mix it pretty well. This is the starter for our rye bread. Now we'll cover it and we let it sit overnight before we start making our bread. And we're using a damp dish towel. Okay, so here, as you can see, the starter was sitting overnight, and as you can see here, it's very active. And now we're gonna add the seeds to it. We're adding sunflower seeds. We're gonna add some fennel seeds. We like to add some caraway seed to it as well. And now we mix the seeds with the starter pretty well to combine. And here we have a mixture of molasses, water, and salt, and we'll add it to the starter. Now we mix the liquid with the starter gently until everything is absorbed. As you can see here, the starter mixture is pretty much absorbed all the liquid. And now we're gonna be adding the flour. And we keep mixing. Don't worry, the dough will come together. Okay, so this is the end of the flour. And don't worry, the dough will come together pretty well. You keep mixing it until all the flour is combined. Okay? Here we are, our dough is ready. Now we have to form it, and we're gonna put it in the loaf pan. Okay, this dough is very sticky, as you can see here. See, they're very sticky, like a glue. So in order for you to form it, we're gonna need my hands with some warm water, and you mix it. Make sure everything is combined, but make sure you're gonna add some hot water, warm water to your hands, and then we shape it. Okay, so now I shape the loaf like that with my hands, and as you can see, it's very sticky dough. So you're gonna take it out like that. Don't worry, it's gonna be a little messy, but you're gonna keep trying. See, like that. Okay? So now I put it on my pan here in the pan, and I fill it. Remember, this is a wet dough, so when we working with it, you have to wet your hands. Okay? So you smooth it down to make it nice and even. Okay, so now I use my wet spatula to smooth the loaf nice and even. The pan sides nice and clean. And here, see, as you can see, it's beautifully even surface. And now we let it rest. Okay. Now we'll cover the loaf and with a kitchen towel, we'll let it rest for about 2-3 hours before baking. Okay, after we have our loaf resting for 2-3 hours, we make little holes in them to prevent flying roof, they call it, like the top becomes, it puffs up and cracks. So that will prevent it. Okay, now what we do, we have this here that called Pullman pan, which has a cover. And the reason for that is to prevent, what does it prevent?
Flying roof, and to make it square so that you can have sliced bread for sandwiches.
Okay, here we have a preheated 400 oven, and on the second rack we put our loaf and we bake it for about 60 to 70 minutes. Depends on the temp correctness of your oven. After 67 minutes, now we're taking it out and taking the cover off. And here how it looks like. Perfect. Now we let it rest for about 10 minutes before we take it out. Okay, it's time to take the loaf out of the pan. Okay, now we put a rack and we carefully, voila. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay. So for the rye bread, I think we're gonna let it rest for overnight, like about maybe 24 hours. Because if we sliced it now, it will be gummy. Here we are after 24 hours of resting our bread. Now we're gonna slice it and show you how it. Here we are. We slice it like about 1/4 of an inch slices. Okay, here we are. Look at this beautiful, beautiful bread, and it's delicious with anything you eat. Okay, and if you want the written recipe, you can find it on our Facebook page. And if you want a detailed video about the whole process, we have it on our YouTube channel, and I will be posting the links to the written recipe and the video as well. Okay, have fun.